Welcome back. We are in day 14 of reading the entire Bible in 1 year. Let's go ahead and get started. We are going to go over Genesis 41, 42, and 43. Genesis chapter 41. Then it came to pass at the end of 2 years that Pharaoh had a dream, and behold, he stood by the river. Suddenly there came up from the river 7 cows, fine looking and fat, and they fed in the meadow. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them out into the river, ugly and gaunt, and stood by the other cows on the bank of the river. And the ugly and gaunt cows ate up the 7 fine looking and fat cows. So Pharaoh awoke. He slept and dreamed a second time, and suddenly 7 heads of grain came up on one stalk, plump and good. Then behold, 7 thin heads, blighted by the east wind, sprang up after them. And the 7 thin heads devoured the 7 plump and full heads. So Pharaoh awoke, and indeed it was just a dream. Now it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was no one that could interpret them for Pharaoh. Then the chief butler spoke to Pharaoh, saying, I remember my faults this day. When Pharaoh was angry with his servants and put me in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, both me and the chief baker, we each had a dream in one night. He and I, each of us dreamed according to the interpretation of his own dream. Now there was a young Hebrew man with us there, a servant of the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. To each man he interpreted according to his own dream, and it came to pass, just as he interpreted for us. So it happened. He restored me to my office, and he hanged him. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon. And he shaved, changed his clothing, and came to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and there is no one who can interpret it, but I have heard it that you can understand a dream to interpret it. So Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, Behold, in my dream, I stood in the bank of the river. Suddenly 7 cows came up out of the river, fine looking and fat, and they fed in the meadow. Then behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and very ugly and gaunt, such as ugliness I've never seen in all the land of Egypt. And the gaunt and ugly cows ate up the first 7, the fat cows. When they had eaten them up, no one would have known that they had eaten them, for they were just as ugly as it was in the beginning. And so I awoke. I also saw in my dream, and suddenly 7 heads came up on the walk, full and good. Then behold, 7 heads, withered thin, and blighted by the east wind, sprang up after them. And the thin heads devoured the 7 heads. So I told this to the magicians, but there was no one who could explain it to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, The dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads are 7 years. The dreams are one. And the 7 thin and ugly cows which came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty heads blighted by the east wind are 7 years of famine. This is the thing in which I have spoken to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. Indeed, 7 years of great plenty will come throughout all the land of Egypt. But after them 7 years of famine will arise, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and famine will deplete the land. So the plenty will not have known in the land because of the famine following, for it will be very severe. And the dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice, because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore, let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land to collect 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt in the 7 plentiful years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that are coming, and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. Then that food shall be as a preserve for the land of 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, and the land may not perish during the famine. So the advice was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Inasmuch as God has shown you all of this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I have set you all over the land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took his signet ring off his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and he clothed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. And he had him ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried out before him, "Bow the knee." So he set him over the land of Egypt. Pharaoh also said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without your consent no man may lift his hand or foot in all of the land of Egypt." And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and gave him as a wife Azignath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. So Joseph went over all the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout the land of Egypt. Now in the 7 plentiful years the ground brought forth abundantly. So he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which was in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. He laid up in every city of the food of the fields which surrounded them. Then Joseph gathered very much grain as the sand of the sea, until he stopped counting, for it was immeasurable. And to Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, whom Asenath and the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bore to him. Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second child he called him Ephraim, for God has caused me to be fruitful in all the land of my affliction. Then the 7 years of plenty which were in the land of Egypt ended, and the 7 years of famine began to come, as Joseph had said. The famine was in all the land, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Then Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, whatever he says, just do." The famine was all over the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians. And the famine became severe in the land of Egypt. So all countries came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain, because the famine was severe in all the lands. Excuse me. Genesis chapter 42. When Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, Why you look at one another? He said, Indeed, I heard that there's grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy for us there. There we may live and not die. So Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, lest some calamity befall him. And the sons of Israel went to buy grain among those who journeyed for the famine, and was in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was governor over all the land, and it was he who sold all the people of the land. And Joseph's brother came and bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them. He acted as a stranger to them and spoke roughly to them and said, Where do you come from? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. So Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed about them, and he said, You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land. And they said to him, No, my lord, but your servants have come to buy food. We are all in one man's son. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies. But he said to them, No, but you have to come to see the nakedness of the land. And they said, Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And in fact, the youngest is with our father today, and one is no more. But Joseph said, It is as I spoke. You are spies. In this manner you shall be tested by the life of Pharaoh. You shall not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you, let him bring back your brother, and shall keep him in prison, that your words may be tested to see whether there is any truth in you. Or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies. So he put them all together in prison 3 days. Then Joseph said to them on the third day, "Do this and live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison house. But you go and carry grain for the famine of your houses, and bring your youngest brother to me, so that your words will be verified, and you shall not die." And they did so. Then they said to one another, "We are truly guilty concerning our brother, for we saw the anguish of his soul when he pleaded with us, and we would not hear. Therefore this distress has come upon us." And Reuben answered him, saying, "Did I not speak to you, saying, 'Do not sin against the boy,' and you will not listen? Therefore, behold, his blood is now required of us." But they did not know that Joseph understood them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. And he returned himself away from them and wept. Then he returned to them again and talked to them. And he took Simeon from them and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph gave a command to fill their sacks with grain and restore every man's money in his sack, and give them provisions for the journey. Thus he did for them. So they loaded the donkeys with the grain and departed. But as one of them opened the sack to give his donkey feed at the encampment, he saw his money, and there it was in the mouth of his sack. So he said to his brother, "My money has been restored, and there is in my sack." Then their hearts failed them. They were afraid, saying to one another, "What is this that God has done to us?" Then they went to Jacob their father in the land of Canaan, and told him all that happened, saying, "The man is Lord and the land of the land, and he spoke roughly to us, and took us for spies for the country. But we said to him, 'We're honest men, we're not spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One of is no more, and the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan.' Then the man, the Lord of the country, said to us, 'By this I will know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me. Take the food for famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother to me, so I shall know that you are not spies, that you are honest men. I will grant your brother to you, and you may trade in the land.' Then it happened, as they emptied their sacks, that surprisingly each man's bundle of money was in the sack. And when they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said to them, 'You have bereaved me. Joseph is no more, Simeon is no more, and now you want to take Benjamin? All these things are against me.' Then Reuben spoke to his father, saying, 'Kill my 2 sons if I do not bring them back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you.' But he said, 'My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If any calamity shall befall him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave.'" Genesis chapter 43. Now the famine was severe in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the grain in which they had brought back from Egypt, and that their father said to them, "Go back and buy us little food." But Judah spoke to him, saying, "The man solemnly warned us, saying, 'You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you.' And Israel said, 'Why did you deal so wrongfully with me as to tell another man whether you still had another brother?' And they said, 'The man asked us pointedly about ourselves and our family, saying, Is your father still alive? Have you another brother?' And we told him according to these words. Could we possibly have known that he would say, Bring your brother down?' Then Judah said to Israel his father, 'Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that he may live and not die. Both we and you and the little ones. I myself will be a surety to him. From my hand you shall require him. If I do not bring him back to you, set before you, then let me bear the blame forever.' For if we did not linger, surely by now we would have returned the second time. And their father Israel said to them, 'If it's a must so, then do this. Take some of the best fruits of the land in your vessel, and carry down the present for the man, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, pistachio nuts and almonds. Take double the money in your hand, and take back in the hand the money that was returned in the mouth of your sacks. Perhaps it was an oversight.'" Sorry, I'm just getting emotional, because what a great love of the Father, you know? "Take your brother also, arise, go back to the man,
And may God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may release your other brother and Benjamin. If I am bereaved, I am bereaved. So the men took the present and Benjamin, and they took double their money in their hand, and arose and went down to Egypt. And they stood before Joseph. Now Joseph saw Benjamin with him, and he said to the steward of the house, Take these men to my home, and slaughter an animal, and make them ready, for these men will dine with me at noon. Then the man did as Joseph ordered, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. Now the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, It is because of the money which was returned in our sacks the first time. That's why they brought us in, so that he may make a case against us and seize us and take us as slaves with our donkeys. When they drew near to the steward of Joseph's house, they talked to him with the donor of the house. Come here. And said, Oh, sir, indeed we come down the first time to buy food. But it happened when we came into the encampment that we opened our sacks, and there each man's money was in the mouth of the sack, our money in full weight. So we have brought back into our hand, and we have brought down other money in our hands to buy food. We do not know who put the money in our sacks. But he said, Peace be with you. Do not be afraid. Your God and the God of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. Then he brought Simeon out to them. So the man brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water and washed their feet and gave them donkeys to feed. Then gave their donkeys feed. Then they made the present ready for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard they would eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present in which their hand into their house and bowed down before him to the earth. Then he asked them about their well-being and said, Is your father well? The old man in which you spoke, is he still alive? And they answered, Your servant, our father, is in good health. He is still alive. And they bowed their heads down and prostrated themselves. Then he lifted his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son. And this is your younger brother of whom you spoke of to me? God be gracious to you, my son, he said. Now his heart yearned for his brother, so Joseph made haste and sought somewhere to weep. And when he went into his chamber, and he wept there. Then he washed his face, came out, and restrained himself, and said, Serve the bread. So they set him a place by himself, and themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because the Egyptians could not eat food with the Hebrews, for that was an abomination to the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men looked in astonishment at one another. Then he took servings from before him, but Benjamin's serving was 5 times as much as any of theirs. So they drank, and they were merry with him. And that is the end of day 14. Subscribe for day 15.